All right, good morning. It is Tuesday. It looks like our weather will be just as wonderful as yesterday's was, unfortunately. So I understand if there's a little bit of trouble getting work in or if we're missing some things today. That's okay. Just get them in by the end of the week, please. I'm not too fussy about if we miss a day. We just have to catch up to it. So yesterday we looked at rounding to the nearest hundred. Wow, I just ruined my own thing. Yesterday we were rounding to the nearest 10. Today we're rounding to the nearest 100. And tomorrow, dun dun dun, it might get bigger again. So let's take a look at the hundreds today. We still have our vertical number lines. I saw quite a few people who used the hill. That is totally fine. I will show a few problems with the hill and some problems with the vertical number line. I'm also going to be underlining and circling our pertinent numbers. I have photos of our rounding chart in our team space. Just click on the tab that says charts. So if you need to take a look at the charts that we're hanging in the room, they are always there and ready. Let's take a look at 143. They have so nicely put 150 in the middle as a means of confusing us. So we always start with our base number, which is 140. But remember, we're rounding to the 100. I know so many people immediately wanted to round to 145. And now those people are like, but wait. That's because we were rounding to tens yesterday. This is our review. We're going through the topics a little more quickly than we did the first time because I firmly believe y'all got this. So 140, is that right? If we're rounding to 100? No, it is not. That 150 is there. I can't get to my marker. There it is. That 150 is there because we are deciding if we are rounding this number. And this is the one making the choice. When I circle it, the number disappears. Let me try this way. Haha. So 143, this value would be 100, and this value would be 200. This middle value is basically just a way to remind us that we're going by 50, 100, 150, 200. If it is super confusing to you because we are not rounding to tens, you can scribble it out. You can absolutely scribble it out if that is messing with you. So 143, so this would be 110, 120, 130, 140, and 143, that's pretty close to 140. So my mark would go right there. It is about 100. So that's me solving this on the number line. Let's do this with the number hill for my friends who were doing the hill method yesterday. So we have 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Remember, the song is shared on our page. If you need to take another listen, it is a really good song, so maybe you just want to. 7, 8, and 9. So my value here is 100 on this side of the hill. On this side, it's 200. This would be where that 150 comes in because these numbers have changed from the ones place to the tens place. We counted by tens here, 100, 110, 120, 130, 140. 143 would be right about here. And based on what we know about gravity, that ball would roll right back down the hill to the 100s place, not the 200s. Again, if you want to use this way instead of this way, that is totally fine. Go for it. All right, our value is 286. I'm going to underline the number we're worried about. I'm going to circle the one that's making the decision. I will draw both the hill for this one and the number line, and then going forward, I will use the number line method. If you're using the hill method, go for it. All right, here's my hill. I always put my starting value right here, so this is 200. we're rounding to hundreds. This is 300. And this value would be 250. Again, if this middle value is confusing you, you do not have to round it that way. You can leave it off. If you notice my hills are a little lopsided, that is okay because you know what? Nature isn't perfect either. All right, so our values would be 200, 250, because we're counting by tens, 210, 220, 230, 240, 250. And this value down here at the very base of the hill would be 300. So let's do it both ways. So 285. I know 285 is past 250, so I'm going to start there. 260, 270, 280, and then 285 is like halfway to 290 because it's in the middle of the value. So it's right there. Let's see if the hill confirms. Okay, here's 80. Okay, wow, our ball has already rolled down that hill. It has settled at the bottom. It says that it is right next to 300. So both methods got us the exact same answer. It's whatever works better for your brain. Everybody's brain is a little different, and we all need different things to help us understand. All right, 320. Again, your starting value is always this number, because that is the one we're making our minds up about. Oh no, bring my underline back. All right. That number next to it is the one making the choice. So, based on our rounding rules, we know 5 or more goes up, 4 and below the hundreds place remains the same. So right now, that's a bad 3. It'll be okay though. Right now, we know we're trying to decide if our 300 goes up or down. We have a 2 in the tens place. So 2's stay the same. Let's see, 310, 320, and it's exactly 320. So this also confirms that method. So it is closer to 300. I know some people are very comfortable doing what I just did, where they just look at the tens and hundreds place and they make their decision based off of that. That is okay, but if you are doing it that way, I am still expecting you to look at our diagrams and make sure that your numbers are lining up. So here they've thrown us a curveball. They put 1,320. We only care about the hundreds place. That thousands place is trash. It is nothing. We're not concerned about it at all. This is the exact same thing that was on the other side, and they stuck a 1 in front of it. That 1 means nothing. Nothing about our work changes. Everything stays the same because our hundreds is still a 3. Our tens place is still a 2. Therefore, it is closest to 1,300. Now, we didn't do anything to the 1. The 1 must remain. We want to make sure that we include it on all of our charts because it's going to be included in our answers. If you leave it off, like I initially did, you are going to make a mistake because your answer is going to say that 1,320 is going to round to just 300. You're not going to include the 1,300. Make sure you don't make the mistake that I just did. Now, I corrected mine. Make sure if you've made that mistake that you have gone ahead and you've corrected yours and that you have the thousands place there where it belongs. All right, we have some more thousands place. Again, we're only concerned about these numbers. So I'm going to put my 1s here so I don't forget. I'm going to go and do that over here too. You can do that in any order you wish, of course. I'm just going ahead and doing it while I think about it. All right. So I know my starting value is 500. I know this has to be 550 because we're counting by 50s. And I know this is 600. So I'm looking at the 500s place, and I'm going to look at this digit that's next to it. It's a 7. 7's meaning I go up. So I am already thinking this is going to round to 1,600. Let's check our work. All right, 1,550, 1,560, 1,570. Yep, here I am. We are closer to 1,600. Here, we're at 1,250. So here I'm starting 1,200, 1,250, and this would be 1,300. Now this problem is mean because it is exactly at that 50 mark. These are problems that we're going to see for a while because they are challenging us to think about how much we understand about rounding versus our ability to put a dot on a line and say, hey, it's closer to this number. So this comes back to our hill thing. So let me go and let me draw a hill real quick so that we have a reference point for when I discuss this. So we're right here on the hill. We're at the top. And I already know that some of you guys are saying, but Miss Hagelberger, it could roll forward or it could roll backwards. Things usually roll forward. That is the rule of life and the rule of gravity. It usually falls down. Now you can say this is also falling down, but we usually don't go that far back. The rule of rounding says when it is 5 or more, we go up. When it's 4 or less, absolutely nothing changes and it continues on the way it was. That's why my line is flat. It's just going on and on and on, no changes. So we have a rule that says we are at 5, therefore we must round up. So every time you see something that has a 50 in the hundreds place, it will round up to the next 100 every time. I know for some people this is going to be frustrating because it's dead center and you feel like it should just stay where it's at. It doesn't work that way. That's one of those rules in math where you just accept that this is how it works and we've got to move on with that rule. All right, complete the chart. Shauna has 480 stickers. Round the number of stickers to the nearest 100. So I'm looking at my hundreds place. I have an 8 in the tens place. 8 means I go up. 480 is about 500. If you would like to draw the number lines for this part, go ahead and do so. Because this is a review for us, I expect that most of us are fairly comfortable with using the rounding rules to go forward. If you're not and you still need that visual representation with a chart, please draw it. You can do it on notebook paper if you need to. All right, I'm making my decision about 500. The value in the tens place is what makes up my mind. That value is a 2. I covered it up when I did that. So 2's go down or stay the same. Therefore, this also rounds to 500. A container holds 750 milliliters of water. It's one of those nasty ones with the 50. I said every time we encounter those, it's going to round up. Always. It will always round up. Glenn, oh look, Glenn, you're in the problem. Look at you spending $1,297 on a new computer. My gosh, you are rich, sir. So we're going to round the amount that Glenn spent to the nearest 100. Now this is a lovely problem because we know that 97 is basically right at the next 100. So this lets us kind of notice that without thinking about it too hard and understanding that Glenn spent about $1,300. The drive between two cities is 1,842 kilometers. All right, I'm not concerned about my thousands. I'm just going to drop it in there because it's not going to change. 842. So I'm going to draw an arrow to my 4 because my circles keep covering it up. The 4 makes up the mind. 4 and below stays the same. Therefore, 1,800. Problem 3. Circle the numbers that round to 600 when rounding to the nearest hundred. All right, 527. I'm going to draw a line underneath here so that, whoa, whoa, malfunctions. No, go away. Okay, wrong line. I'm going to draw a line underneath here and put what each number rounds to. Whenever we have these problems, these were really challenging for us on FSA Prep, and we are going to have that again next year. They're going to come back. So we want to keep using the same strategy. We want to round each number, and then we're going to circle the correct answers. 527. The 2 is going to be what makes up our mind. 2 rounds to staying the same, so this is 500. Not our answer. 550, it's a 50. It has to round up. This is one answer. Go ahead and circle as you find them. Don't wait until the end to circle because that's how we go and we make mistakes and we accidentally leave one off. I've seen that on quite a few people's papers. When they're working them out, they find all the work and then they forget to circle one. Circle as you find them. Don't wait. You never know. When we're back in school, maybe our neighbor is going to sneeze on us. We're going to forget, or there's going to be a fire drill, or the announcements come on for a minute, and you lose track of what you're doing. All right, 639. I'm only worried about the 30. That's what's making up my mind. 3 says that it stays the same. This is an answer. 681. That 8 tells me I round up to 700. This is not what we want. That is incorrect. 713, there is no possible way for that to round to 600. Never, never, ever. Super wrong. 603. That's one where I know that we are pretty comfortable with recognizing 603 is basically 600. So these are our 3 answers. 550, 639, and 603. All right, last problem. The teacher asks students to round 1,865 to the nearest hundred. All right, let me go do that real quick before I do anything else. The problem has said that people were asked to round. I'm going to go check their rounding. I know their thousands place stays the same. I'm looking at the 800. The 6 is going to be what makes the difference. And 6 means we go up. So we should have 1,900. Let me draw that one a little nicer. Question says it is 1,900. Alexis disagrees and says it's 1,900s. We have 2 Alexises, so they're both in the problem at the same time. This is a day for people in our class being in the problem set. Who is correct? Explain your reasoning. So, who is right? Here we have 1900s. If we were to count by 100 19 times, we would have a value equal, I'm going to say 19H, equals 1,900. We can check this. We can do 19 times 100. This is going to require us to poof not 1, but 2 zeros over here. So these guys are now gone. They moved here. So it becomes 19 times 1, which we know is just 19. And I hang my comma in there. 1,900. They are both correct because the numbers